Welcome to the Alumni Pawdcast. I'm your host, Jenifer Garcia, and joining us today is Melissa Ochoa, current A&M-SA Foundation Board Member. Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good. What have you been up to?
Ooh, a lot. I've been doing quite a bit, of course, keeping busy with work and the different boards that I'm on. And my 8-year-old granddaughter, so she's selling Girl Scout cookies right now, so that's kept me quite busy as well.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So let's go ahead and start. You're currently a foundation board member, right?
Yes, I am.
Yes. So how is your experience with that?
So yes, the foundation board that I'm on is, of course, here at San Antonio A&M. And it's been great. I believe I want to say I'm going on 3 years, 2 years or 3 years, something like that. It's been a while because I've been on it since Dr. Matson was here. And so I've enjoyed it. There's a lot of events that we've been to, a lot of opening ceremonies. Most exciting part that I love about it is, or the one thing I should say, was when we went to see the the science lab that got moved here. And so I really like that, and finding out more about the research that they're doing and us being able to help them in bringing that lab here from downtown into the campus. Mm-hmm. So I've enjoyed that. But I think, just really a big part of the foundation is that we help students. We help students with scholarships. So of course, having those events for that, and just in a lot of different aspects, in helping the community, working with the community, seeing the different buildings coming up for us to opening up our campus, and meeting lots of important people, in the community that have actually helped us out.
Yes. I read your bio and you're very involved in the community, yes. Right? You also love to fundraise for some associations. Can you tell me more about the associations you help fundraise for?
Yes, so the Leukemia Lymphoma Society, I used to do that for 12 years. I did that. We used to do the Light the Night, and that was really what started my fundraising. When I used to work for one of the companies that I worked with, they were big about doing fundraising. I was a store manager in the retail industry, and that's what kind of got me going. After 12 years, though, my dad was diagnosed with ALS, which is amyotrophic lymphomic sclerosis, something like that. It's a very long name. But nevertheless, when he got diagnosed with that in 2013, I started fundraising for the ALS Association. So ever since then, I've been on the committee, the walk committee. So every year they have a walk. And then I've had my own team as well and doing fundraising for them. So there's a couple of fundraisers there that I do specifically for those organizations for a reason. And then I'm part of the ACTS Missions board, and we do fundraising for them. So we also have a gala that we have every year in raising funds for the ACTS Missions to be able to open up or to start other missions throughout not only the United States but international as well. So we do fundraising for them as well. So I do quite a bit of that.
Yeah, you do. And you're actually currently the president for the ACTS Mission Board, right?
Yes, I am.
That's really awesome.
I'm on my 2nd year now with them.
Oh,
yes.
Nice. How long have you been fundraising for these associations?
Oh, I'm going to say, with the Leukemia Lymphoma Society, I started back in, I believe it was about 2001, so about 24 years now.
Oh. Yeah. Oh my God, that's amazing work you're doing.
Yeah, every time you open up my Facebook screen, I'm fundraising for something.
That's amazing. Yeah. Were you already fundraising before you graduated? Or
through A&M? Yes. So I graduated. I was a long-time student, is the way I like to say. I graduated from A&M in 2013. Mm-hmm. And so that was when actually my classes were back at City Base.
Right.
When the classes were over there. So the first building hadn't even been built yet.
Yeah. That's really cool. So you really got to see this campus get built from the beginning.
Yes, I have. Mm-hmm.
Right. So tell me more about when you were a student. What were classes like before we had the campus?
Yeah, so when I first went as a student, first of all, I thought I was going to be the oldest person in class. I was scared to go in there. But then when I went in, I wasn't. I was probably like in the middle. There was younger ones and older folks. But it was, I hadn't been in a classroom in a very long time. When I graduated from high school, I did go to community colleges and got all my basics. But then I moved to San Antonio, and I wasn't able to go to continue my college because at that time there were no classes like virtual classes. You had to be on campus. And so with my job, that wasn't possible because I traveled a lot. And so when I did come back to San Antonio and decided to go back to school, they had virtual classes. So that really helped me out because in retail, I would work anywhere from 60 to 70 hours a week. So I would come home and work at, classes at midnight. I'd be working on my homework. And then they were classes on campus, and then classes were online as well.
Right.
And so it was interesting. It was different. And then I think it was also at the time where virtual started, so I got to experience that as well as virtual classes. Well, okay, you got to get your homework in by midnight. There was no late turning in because if you didn't have it in by midnight, it wasn't done. So it was a very different experience for me. But it was a fun one because that's where the whole computer and virtual and all of that started. So I got to be one of the first people that started doing that. And then got to see the groundbreaking of the first building here, which is where admissions is at now.
Yes.
That was kind of fun to watch, and then just to see it grow to where it's at now. Classrooms were small. I think we had about 30 people in our classroom, and it was small classrooms. I mean, it was in a building where they used to have offices.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's crazy. So, you are actually a very public advocate for the LGBTQ plus community, and the Coalition Club and Rainbow P.A.W.S on campus has acknowledged you, right?
Yes, they have.
Yeah. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah. So my first time coming here to knowing about the coalition, Renee Orozco was the one that actually he invited me to come to a graduation, to a lavender graduation that they were having. And so I said, yeah, sure, I'll go. At the time, I was the president of the LGBT Chamber of Commerce here in town. And he said, would you come over? And I said, sure. And I had met Renee, I think once or twice before. And when I came, I was sitting there and just, watching the ceremony. And then he starts talking about we're going to recognize a leader in the community. And, he goes on and on and on. And then he mentions my name. And I was surprised. I was like, what, me? And he's like, yeah. He goes, come on up. And so I went. And so I actually got recognized and then rewarded a lavender graduation stole, which I was really excited about. And so when I come now, I always wear this. And then also got cords at the same time. So I got the stole and I got cords. So I was really excited about that. And then not only that, but he and I had been working, and I knew him because they had asked if the chamber would help pick scholars for the scholarships that they had. So with that, I was like, oh, you guys need scholarships? He said, yeah. So I think about a year or two later, the chamber awarded them a $1,000 scholarship also for students, to continue their education. And then in 2022 to 2023, Rainbow P.A.W.S gave me the Jaguar Alumni of the Year. And so I got that one a couple of years ago. So just really excited about that. When I got the call that if I would accept, I said, yeah, I definitely, I was actually a nominee. And then when I got here, I found out that I had won. And so very excited about that as well. So I'm glad to be a part of that. And I've asked them to just let me know when they're going to have events so that I'd love to still continue being here and advocating for them. I'm no longer with the Chamber of Commerce, but I do stay involved with the community as well.
That's amazing. Congrats on all of this.
Thank you.
It's wonderful.
Another note, not to mention other schools names, but Our Lady of the Lake University
Yes.
also invited me. It was their coalition, LGBTQ coalition there, invited me to be a keynote speaker for their graduation, their Lavender graduation as well. So that was kind of exciting to get that call as well.
That's really wonderful. It must feel great to
It
get
is.
considered for that. Now back to the associations. You were also awarded the Martha Acosta Volunteer of the Year Award in 2022, right?
That was with the ALS Association, yes. So because I've been a volunteer with them and on their committee since 2013, they actually, I got that award. And I actually got to meet Martha before she passed away. I got to meet her, and she was an amazing individual that did a lot for the association. And so I was very honored to be able to get that award. I did, again, one of those things that I didn't know. I showed up to the walk and, getting everything together because I help with the walk. And my family came in from out of town, and I was like, oh, y'all came to the walk? I'm so glad. I'm so excited y'all came for the walk. Little did I know that they had been called and told that I was going to be getting this award. So when I got recognized, it was a big honor to get that because, again, the walk is for my dad. And it's something that I have vowed that I would continue doing and advocating for ALS until they could find a cure or a way to be able to let people live longer. Because when my dad was diagnosed, it was he only lived for 3 years after that. And usually when they're diagnosed with ALS, they don't last very long, anywhere it's from 2 to 3 years. So I made a commitment that I would continue advocating for the ALS Association as well to find a cure and raise funds for that. So, yeah.
Thank you. That's very committed work.
Yes.
Right. Do you have any advice for current students?
This is an exciting time for you all to be here, and it's a growing school. There's a lot for this school to still get to and accomplish, and with all of y'all's support, please continue doing that. For the graduates that are graduating, join the alumni committee as well. Being an alumni of this group, this organization right now, I think is it's amazing. I love it. I love being on the foundation board. I love doing things to help the school. Anytime I can come to any event at the school, I am here. You will see me around if you haven't already seen me around. I love going to all those events because it's exciting to see the school grow. From being at, city base, back in 2012 and 13, when I was going to school, to seeing it to where it's at now, I think it's an amazing time to be here. I just to backtrack if it's okay.
Yeah.
Back when I graduated from high school, many years ago, before you guys were probably even born, I graduated from high school wanting to go to A&M and College Station. I was a first-time graduate student from my family, and so my parents, it was hard for them to get me to the school there. I wasn't able to do that, so I can relate to a lot of the students that come to this school. And when San Antonio came in, when I found out that A&M came in to San Antonio, it was exciting for me because maybe I didn't graduate from College Station, but I actually still graduated from A&M, which is something I wanted to do. So it's very exciting. So for you students that are coming, take it all in, be a part of it. I'm also honored to be able to have a brick with my name on it. Out here I was one of the last classes that got that brick, and so I'm excited about having that there. So be a part of the school, do what you can in getting involved with everything here because it's a once in a lifetime.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm involved in a few organizations, and it's really fun. And it's really comforting to hear alumni say that they've been through what we're feeling.
Yes.
It's really comforting. I've interviewed a few alumni now, and everyone has unique experience, but
Yeah.
in a way, we've all been through something similar.
Absolutely, and I think that if we can be there to help the college students right now and saying, okay, you're not alone. We've been through this, and this is where we're at now, right? Because if I wouldn't have gotten my degree from here, I wouldn't have been able to get promoted at my work where I was at. And then from that, even though the school had to shut down, where I'm at now is because of the degree that I got. I have an associate's degree from San Antonio College in accounting, and then that wasn't enough. Where you used to think that was enough, it wasn't enough. I had to have my bachelor's degree in business, and that's what I ended up getting when I came to be able to continue. And so I think with that, my life and my career has just changed tremendously with that. And so I'm very grateful for me being able to come back to school, the company that paid for my schooling as well, because they said, you get promoted, you go to school, we're going to pay for your college. And so I was blessed to be able to have that. But I think it's very important because it's going to get us to places. So go through the struggles now, but at the end, the rewarding is going to be very well worth it.
Right. Just to backtrack, you had mentioned your father, and you have a very sweet picture. Would you mind showing it?
Sure, no, I don't mind at all. So this picture here, I do marathons. Well, I used to do marathons and half marathons. For 10 years, I did that. This was one of the last, the reason I keep this picture is because the last marathon that I did that my dad could go to, not that I did, but that my dad could go to was this one where he was standing. After this, he could no longer stand. He was actually in a wheelchair. So he was no longer able to go to my marathons. I did one. I brought my medal also. A half marathon that I did in Houston, and this was with the ALS Association for my dad. That was in 2017. That was the last year that my dad lived. I did this in January. My dad passed away in October. So this is very dear to me. I framed it in one of the San Antonio Rock and Roll Marathon frames. But because my dad was always a big supporter, that also happened to be the same year that I graduated from here with my bachelor's. And my dad wasn't able to come to my graduation because he was in a wheelchair, could barely move. And so I hold this dear to my heart. So thanks for asking me to show it. Because he's my big supporter. Even though he's no longer here, he's still my big supporter.
First of all, I'm sorry for your loss. And then again, thank you for the fundraising you do. I'm sure me, along with many others, really appreciate that. One more thing I wanted to ask about is you actually started a networking group, right, for women. Can you tell me about that?
Yes. So the networking group is called Women's Night of Inspiration. A good friend of mine and I started it together a few years ago. Kind of slowed down a little bit last year because she got married and went through all of that, but we're ready to get it up and going again. But we had it for a few years, about 2 or 3 years now. And it's where we get together in the evening once a month, and it's to inspire women to be able, of all ages, okay, of all careers, to inspire them to just keep going with life, right? To keep doing what you're doing. And if you need any help and assistance and resources, we've had Judge Rosie come in and speak. We've had Judge Huff come in and speak. We've had business owners that have come in and spoken as well. We've had women that have businesses, but they're primarily men's businesses, like an auto shop, where they've come in and they've spoken about how they run their business now, being in a man's world. And so it's to inspire the women to say, hey, you know what? Be the best version of yourself and be whatever you want to be, and don't let anything or anybody ever stop you from continuing to do that. So we're just there to help each other and inspire each other. She has her own business in construction. I've got my own business as well in the financial industry. And so I think with us helping each other out and us supporting each other, we can help build each other up, and we can help push each other to the next level. And so that's what we're there for.
Yeah, that's amazing opportunities.
Yes.
How many women are in this group, roughly?
We have had anywhere from probably 20 to maybe 50, 75 people that attend our networking group. So it just depends on where it's at, and where, usually we try to find locations that business owners have that let us go in and do our networking event there. So it's a pretty good, I think on the average, about 35 to 40 people.
That's a
women.
big group.
Yes, it is a big group.
Do you have a favorite networking event that you've had or hosted?
Yes, it has to be with her that we had an event. It was an outdoor event that we had, and we had so much fun because it wasn't too hot, but it wasn't cold either, that we were able to do. And we had, again, that one had probably about 40 women. We've had, I believe that one was when I think Stephanie came. No, that was another event. That was a different event. But we've had, that one had to be the best one that I liked. It was at Candlelight over off of St. Mary's, that we had it there. And it was an amazing time that we had, and the great speakers that we had there as well.
That's amazing. I love how you provide these networking opportunities for women in the community. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, and I'm part of other groups that I go to as well that have networking groups for women. Not to leave the men out for anything, right? But I think that sometimes, women just really need to empower each other and know that, hey, you know what, you're not alone in this. I think sometimes we take so much on that we feel sometimes that, we're alone, and then it can get overwhelming with so many things that you do, that if you go to things like this, you can actually say, okay, I'm not alone, I can do this, and then you have somebody to talk to, and find, you've been through that? Let me help you through that, let's go through that, or let's talk about it, but just coming together and seeing each other come together and talk to each other. And then I've seen people, I just had somebody tell me the other day, because of you, I'm part of this organization. And because of you, I'm part of this organization. And then friendships grow, through that. And for me, it's good to see that they have built other friendships to help each other and pull each other through whatever they have going on. Yeah.
That's a strong community you built.
Yeah.
That's great, Lastly, would you like to give any shout-outs to anyone?
I think, the biggest shout-out I'm going to give is to my brother. My brother he's very well known, I would say, in the theater community here in San Antonio, and then through our church as well. But, he's my, and he might not like it, but I'm going to say he's my baby brother, right? He is. There's 4 of us, 4 siblings, and he's my youngest one. We're 12 years apart, but I actually look up to him. I look up to him for everything that he does, and the people that he touches in his life. He's just an amazing individual. And so, a lot of the times you have the younger siblings looking up to the older siblings. I look up to him because of what he does. He's a very positive individual, and on purpose, he has positive people around him. And so I think that it's important for all of us to do that, is to try to be the best human, the best person that you could possibly be, and surround yourself with positivity. Because when you do that, life is so much better, and you don't worry about all the negativity and all the bad things that are going on around us. That if you surround yourself with positive people, then you become a positive person. And when you become a positive person, then you can do all these things that I do, And so shout out to my brother, Miguel Ochoa. I love you, and continue the work that you're doing.
Yes. I think you're right when you say you need to surround yourself with positive people. I think that that is your support system, and it can really come through when you're struggling, probably working towards your degree,
Yes.
I think that's very important. And another thing you mentioned is looking up to someone. I think it's true. I don't think people mention it a lot, but you can look up to people that are your age or younger. It's not necessarily someone older.
Right, absolutely. And so, with that said too, I think with our alumni group, I think our alumni could do that, right? Alumni just being that role model for other individuals. If we talk about the campus, be that role model for those that are in the campus, and be there to help and support our Jaguars, right? We need to make sure that we're here for them as well. So I want to just give an invitation to all those that have graduated from A&M that are alumni to be part of the alumni group here as well, and let's make it happen.
Yes, for sure. We do need to do that. It was great meeting you, Melissa Ochoa.
Thank you, Jenifer. Appreciate you having me.